Hi there, my name is Baron Stevens. I teach saxophone and clarinet lessons in Orem, Utah. And I started doing videos earlier, but my equipment kind of malfunctioned, so I'm getting back on track here with that. What I thought I'd talk about here this week is well, we're coming into the summer months. We got one more week of school here in Utah, and I've been talking to a lot of students lately about the importance of practicing over the summer. Over the years, as I've asked my students about how they're practicing, during the summer versus the winter months. Of course, the potential for practice goes up in the summer, but most of the time it goes down. And we have more time available to practice, but for some reason we don't. My theory is mostly because we're not on a schedule. So what I recommend for my students and for anybody else that wants to keep up with their practice over the summer and maybe hopefully even increase their practice time so you can work on some of those things that you normally don't have time to during the school months. But select a time of the day that you can practice regularly. I think it's one of the most important things that you can do. Now, by setting this time doesn't mean that you always have to hit that time and only that time. I mean, summer months can be kind of crazy. I know with my kids, they're running all over the place. And so to say, 8 o'clock every morning is your practice time is going to be, sometimes a hard thing to do. But hopefully, if most weeks you can hit whatever your selected practice time is, then you're going to come off much better than you would be if you say, well, I'll practice whenever I get a chance. Because it seems like when we go with that strategy, and I'm speaking from experience because I did this too one summer when I was a music student. Yeah, so when we go with like that, we'd have a tendency to have other things take priority. So that's my number one suggestion. So right now, take a moment, say to yourself, okay, this is the time that will work best for me, whether it's 8 o'clock in the morning, 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night, whatever. Just kind of pick a time. And another thing that I think that helps in addition to that is to set specific goals for yourself. If you're a jazz player, maybe your goal would be to transcribe a jazz solo over the summer, or maybe to work on certain jazz etudes, or to get fluent on certain scales, like maybe you want to focus on Mixolydian or Locrian or whatever type of scale that you feel like you need to, or 2-5-1 patterns, major, minor, and all that. Setting some goals like that is good. And if you're a classical player, select some classical pieces that you want to do, or maybe some classical etudes. I might be slightly deranged, but I personally think classical etudes are a lot of fun, and they're a good technical challenge as well as you feel like you've accomplished something when you've done that. But probably one of the number one things that I really stress that is important to do over the summer is to have fun. I know scales, tone studies, things like that are not necessarily the most fun things. I mean, we should be doing them every day, but the reason why I've been playing for several decades now is because music is fun, and if you're not having fun playing music, you're doing something wrong. Music should be fun, so find some things to do. So, I mean, for example, some things would be, like getting some fun songbooks. Like maybe movie themes. A lot of my students in the past have liked to get the Star Wars music or Lord of the Rings music, or maybe a collection of rock songs from the 70s. It doesn't really matter, just something that you think is fun and that you would enjoy to do. Another fun thing to do is just to play songs by ear. You can play whatever songs you want. Whether it's a popular one on the radio or whatever, you don't have to worry about music. And I almost hate to say this, but playing songs by ear is also good ear training. Don't think about that too much. So just mainly have fun with it. If you're a jazz player, listen to a lot of jazz music and maybe see if you can learn some of the things, some of the licks, or maybe even the whole solo that the person did. That can be fun too. And then, kind of related to that is just putting on a recording of a song that you like, whether it's jazz or rock or country, or it doesn't really matter. And then get out your instrument and just play along with it. And it's again kind of an ear training thing. It's something that we can do that is fun as well. Anyway, but I just mainly want to encourage people to pick up their instrument, and there's so many rewards we get. And I think most of us, when we're a musician and we don't practice, we kind of feel bad about it. I know I do. Because we can kind of feel our skills deteriorating. I mean, music is unfortunately one of those things you have to keep up on, or it gets worse. The analogy I use a lot of times is, if you get your golf game really well and you're got your score nice and low and all that, and you take a month off, are you going to come back, getting the same exact score as you did after not doing anything for a month? And most of the time the answer is no, by a long shot. So same thing with music. We got the fine motor control that we need, with our fingers. That's why it's so important to keep up on our scales and things like that. And then of course the fine muscle control and our embouchure, so if you're a wind player, that we need in order to get the tone that we need and want. We got to find ways to maintain that stuff. So yeah, it was just kind of my little blurb I wanted to get onto for now. Maybe next time I'll talk about some practice strategies and techniques and ways that we can make our practice time more efficient. But until then, keep practicing. You can check out my website is saxmyax, saxmyax.com. I'm hoping over the summer to put up some etudes, for listening, and also some jazz etudes for learning, and as well as some 2-5-1 play-alongs and things like that. So stay tuned there, and hopefully I'll get some videos up as well. Thanks.